peanut gallery in the room. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday, rainy Sunday, and happy Passover for those who are celebrating. Hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful something planned for yourself today. So my thought kind of on that is that it's a lovely time, right? I've been talking about the Vayus this week. I've been talking about your experience of yourself as a pranic being, right? As an energy being, and not just as what you are physically experiencing as your body or your mind, but that pranic energy, when you start to connect with it, or you start to actually free its actions to do what it's designed to do, is that it allows us to kind of step over or go beyond what is our normal place of stuckness, right? So if you want something to change in your life, is don't keep pounding at it from the outside, figuring out how to get everything outside of you to shift. We say this all the time in yoga, but you start internally, right? What energy moving through you, it has the ability to shift so that there's a openness where something new can happen, right? So working with your prana is exactly that. It's learning to become really open again so that all of the movement of your energy is able to do what it's naturally designed to do, right? So this is creating a little bit more opportunity for there to be growth because we now have the resources, the energetic resources available to do it, right? So the thought, moving with the Vayus, with the holiday that we're in, right, is that this is the experience of, right, freeing yourself from bondage. This is what yoga says is we're always doing, is freeing ourselves from the cages that we create in our own minds. And in the external, the way that those cages that we create in our mind, or those boundaries we create in our mind, become the things that we enforce on each other, right? So that everything that is outside of us that looks like it's stuck and restricted and a mess, again, can you start in here? Where is there energy here that is able to shift and move? So let the eyes close for a moment. Begin with the mantra, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings be happy, be peaceful, be free from suffering. And may my efforts, may my life contribute to that. So not just may I not be doing terrible things to people, but can my every thought be in the direction of finding a way to cultivate peace wherever I happen to be. So I don't have to walk into someone else's home and try and fix their problems, but I can walk into my own home and be peaceful, be free from my own suffering. I can work with that. Because the world is a very big place, and we're told that there will always be those experiences of pain. We're not getting out of that. No one is. But wherever you find yourself landing, wherever that pain is, can you also be a beacon of peace? Can you hold the willingness to take even those that are causing disturbance, harm, and say, may they also find happiness and be free from their suffering? This is how we start to take that experience of being trapped in a world that is moving the way that it is, to realizing that you're always free. This is your pranic self. Your pranic self is always free. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Wherever I land, may I be a beacon, a reminder. And I hold myself to that promise to cultivate what it means to be happy, to be peaceful, and to be free from the bonds of suffering. Not that you won't feel pain. One more deep breath in. Exhale the breath all the way out, and then stretch your arms up alongside your ears. Make a V so the arms are at like 60 degrees. Curl your 4 fingers in towards the pads of your knuckles. So not a full fist, but curl your fingers in, take your thumbs out like you're doing 2 thumbs up. So your arms are out 60 degrees, thumbs facing outward. Good, steady seat. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Little breath in, breath of fire, pump your navel, go. And if you're not doing breath of fire today, you can either keep the breath long and deep, or you can do Kapalabhati, a little bit softer, where you're just exhaling, 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 using the navel. Good, keep going. Find a steady rhythm. So you're not going as fast as you possibly can, but you're keeping the navel steady, 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 steady. This is what happens. We get really excited about what we want to grow and we rush into it. We get really excited, inspired to change something about the world, and we run headlong into it. And then a week later, we're exhausted and we give up. Keep going. Breath of fire. This is ego eradicator. So reach out through your arms. Reach out. No bent elbows. Good. Pull up through the crown of your head, navel, in and out, in and out. Again, a steady rhythm, doesn't have to be fast. Keep going. Good. I know, keep going. Ego eradicator. The ego is the one that says that I can do this or I can't do that. I'm stuck with this pain. I'm stuck with this suffering. There's no way that my efforts can make any difference in this world. It's too big. That's your ego talking. The pranic self says, I'm everything in this world. So everything that I do is impacting. So breath of fire, eradicate the ego, remove that layer. So that the ego corresponds to what the heart says. It says, I'm everything in this universe. So everything that I do matters. And every other being is the same as me. Every other being is the same as me. So if I cultivate peace and love and an end to suffering in my own life, that will benefit all beings. If I take care of those beings that I come in contact with the way that I would care for my own self, that will benefit the entire universe. Keep going. Free yourself from this idea that what you do doesn't mean anything, or that it's okay to give up because everyone else around you is giving up. Arms up. Good. Even if the elbows are bending, arms up. Curl those fingers in, thumbs out. Breath is still moving. If you had to take a break from breath of fire, that's okay, but keep your arms up and keep breathing deep. You're almost there. Keep going. I know you're going to get tired. You're going to say, how much longer? None of your business. Keep going. This is your life, right? How much longer do I have to stay focused? How much longer do I have to keep living fully? None of your business. Keep going. Your heart, already knows. Your soul already knows. It's only your ego that has the stupid questions. Keep going. Good. You're here until you're here. Every moment. May all beings be happy, be peaceful, be free from suffering. May my life be contributing to that right now. Don't give up. Good. Deep breath in, pause and hold at the top of the breath. Squeeze, press out through those arms. Bring the thumbs together to touch overhead. Good. And as you exhale, release the breath, stretch the arms out and down. They say fanning the auric field, your pranic field. Good. Let the hands rest wherever they want. Eyes closed, just feel. The joy of that practice is it makes absolutely no difference if you feel like you did anything to your ego. What matters the most is you kept your arms up. You kept your breath going. And for those 2 or 3 minutes, again, 3 minutes, you were united. Your breath, your effort was united with the breath and effort of others. This is what it means to practice. It means that you are uniting your mind, your efforts, your breath, your intentions, your desires, your love, with all of those things that are shared by other beings. It's not you in this world alone. And when that unification, that uniting happens over and over again, it starts to pull all others into it. That's the beauty of this mantra, as it says all beings are included. So the stronger my desire is, the stronger my promise is it will draw all other beings into that reality. So you become the beacon of it in yourself. And it will draw that reality to all others, whether they know how to be happy or at peace or free from suffering or not. It will draw them into it. That's why we practice. So as the yogi, that's the promise you make, is that every day you will not give up. Hands to heart center. Deep breath in for Om. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands. Come forward onto hands and knees. It's a way to start your morning, right? Kundalini Yoga does suggest that there's actually a wake-up series. That's what it's called. Come onto hands and knees. Start to cat-cow your spine. I believe in that wake-up series, I'm not 100% sure, but it involves stretch pose, which is a very low, deep boat pose, right? It might involve breath of fire while in that pose. I'm not sure. But it's intense, right? It's the sort of thing that you're like, why would I do that first thing when I wake up? The reason for it is you wake up and you immediately move that stagnation from sleep. You immediately get the mind clear and the prana moving, so that when you step into the world, you're stepping into the world really open. Not necessarily in a good state or a bad state, but just open. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Come back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Scoop into your low belly. Take your hips high to the sky. Come up onto your tippy toes. Yep, so pull up. And then round a little bit into your back rib cage. So feel like you're rounding the upper back just a little bit. And then start to take your armpits forward. Stay rounded, stay lifted, like you're floating forward into plank pose. Good. Yep. Bring the armpits forward, forward, forward. Come into that plank pose, but stay really lifted and rounded through the upper back and through the tops of your thighs. Good. So when you get to what feels like almost a full plank, you're going to lift your collarbones up. Good. And keep pulling the arm bones up into the shoulder socket. So push through the hands, but pull up through your armpits. Beautiful. And then from your pelvis, lift up and back, pull back to downward facing dog. Tops of the thighs moving you. Good. Come up on the tippy toes again. Good. Scoop into your belly, round into your upper ribs. Good. And then float yourself forward again, like you're lifting up and over to come forward to plank. Armpits come forward. And at the last second, you lift your collarbones and pull your arm bones up into your shoulder socket, like you intend to pull your hands up off the floor. Good. And then from your tops of your thighs, lift up, press back, downward facing dog. Yeah, working your core doesn't just mean doing abdominal work. One more time, come up on your tippy toes, round into that upper back, bring yourself forward towards plank pose. Good. And then lifting the collarbones, nice long wide chest, pull the arms up, stay there. So plank pose. Good. And then pull your right knee forward towards your chest, squeeze it in. Good. And then step it back to plank. And then bring your left knee forward. Keep your armpits right where they are. Step back to plank. Good. Right knee forward. Step it back. Left knee forward. Step it back. Right knee forward. Step it back. Left knee forward. Step it back. Take it a little faster if you can. They call these mountain climbers. Good. Keep your ribs lifted, armpits forward. If you come backwards in this, it's actually going to be more work on your shoulders, believe it or not. Having your armpits over your wrist means that it's more work on your core. Good. Find plank pose, deep breath in, drop the knees down to the floor. Hands and knees don't collapse into child's pose. Right arm out wide to the right. You get to collapse into thread the needle. Take the right arm behind the left wrist, right shoulder finds the floor, turn your gaze, walk the left arm forward towards straight. So stretch for the shoulders first. Press your shins down to the floor. Nice, you guys. Find the breath at the back of the heart. Good. Little conversation that was happening here earlier was about the need for doing more cardio. Walk yourself back up to hands and knees. So, you know, most of us are like, oh, okay, like I'll go walk a little bit or I'll go for a brief jog or whatever. Go to the other side, please. Left arm out wide, slide the arm behind the right wrist, left shoulder finds the floor, turn your gaze, walk the right arm forward any amount towards straight, pressing into your shins. So Jessica, press your shins down. Good. Nice, you guys. And that kind of cardio is great, but whole body, any whole body action, right, that you do, breath of fire is almost cardio, right? Mountain climbers, even if you get into plank pose and you just do that, I used to do it for just count to myself 20 seconds and do it, is you will get your heart rate up. It's these little things that we do habitually that make a lasting difference. And this is true in your body and it's true in your life, right? Some of these mantras we say, oh, it sounds like such a big promise to go out into the world and be cultivating peace and love and all of these things. And it feels so big, but it isn't. It's something that's big, that's made up of all of the little things that you're doing all day long. Walk yourself back up to hands and knees. Good. Take your knees wide, child's pose. Now you can relax in child's pose. Good. And walk your torso over the right thigh, please, moving the belly, moving the ribs. Good. And then move back towards center, please. Take your torso over to the left. So we start with the pranic body, always just trying to build an awareness of how energy is moving and how it isn't. So we make prana, we talk about prana as being synonymous with your breath. So one way to do that is to start looking or start feeling even better. As you're moving through your day, where is breath experienced in your body and where is it not? Where is openness experienced in your mind and where is it not? So that you can start to identify where even are the places of my restriction, because you'll be surprised. So there's some of the ones that you know, and then there's other places that you have no idea that there's restriction happening there or breath is not moving, et cetera, et cetera. Come back to center. Good. And then walk yourself back up to hands and knees, please. Press back downward facing dog. Good. Pedal the feet just a little bit if you'd like, letting the hips sway from side to side. Beautiful. And then steady the heels, please. Take your right leg up and back to down dog split. Good. And then step that foot forward between the hands, lunge. Nice. Drop your back heel, baby toe parallels the back of your mat. Take both hands inside the front foot. Bring that right forearm right up against your right shin. You can use a block underneath the hand if you need. And then you're taking your left arm up to the sky. So it's a little side angle variation. So with the knee bent, front knee bent, good. You're pressing that shin against the upper arm and you're pressing your arm back against the shin. So that pressure, right, is going to encourage the knee to stay over the ankle. And then you can move your right butt cheek back and in. So almost like you're scooping your right butt cheek towards your back heel. It's going to feel like you're turning your left hip slightly forward. Let that happen so that you're orienting the pelvis to make a more neutral line on that front knee. So John, really pull that right hip back and in. Let your left hip spin forward. That's it. Good. One more breath, you guys. Heart to the sky, open. Good. And then just right where you are, start to straighten that right thigh coming into triangle pose. Again, you might have to slide that hand higher up the leg or take your block a little higher. If you can keep the forearm up against the shin, that's great. Good. Squeezing the legs towards each other. And that same energy of the right butt cheek hugging back and in, scooping back and in. So your left hip spins forward just a little bit. Good. Bend the front knee again, back to that side angle variation, knee over the ankle. Good. Take the left arm over the ear this time. Yeah, but keep pulling that right butt cheek back and in. Let that left hip spin forward. Again, make it easier on that front knee. Good. Release both hands down to the floor. Please spin your back heel up. Drop that left knee down to the floor. Good. Take your right leg forward to straight. Ardha Hanumanasana. Come up on the heel. Use blocks underneath the hands if you'd like. So your back knee is on the floor, left hip is stacked on top of that knee. Good, right leg is forward. Yeah, and then everybody do it this way, because I was saying this to John before, so everybody do it this way, where you bend your front knee just a little bit. So press down through the front heel, drag backwards so that your knee pops up a little bit. Good, but you have this constant pressure of the heel down to the floor. Good, now fold from the waist the same way that you usually would in this forward fold. Walk yourself forward, hands on blocks or the floor. Good, but I want you to really focus on keeping that little bend to the knee and press your butt backwards. So send your thigh creases back, lengthen your lower spine, pull your tailbone back. Good. So the stretch that you're creating is less about getting into the back of the knee or the back of the thigh, but you're working as that muscle wraps around the back of the pelvis. So press your butt back and dig your heel down. Good. You're still going to feel something. I promise you will. And if you don't, wave a hand at me. I'll help somehow. One more breath, please. Good. And then walk your hands back up, please. Bring that right foot back underneath your right knee, back to the lunge. Lift the back knee off the floor. Step the left foot forward just a little bit. Parzvo Tanasana. So both legs come to straight, feet flat. Yeah, use blocks underneath the hands if you need. And even if you don't need, if you just want, you want blocks, use them. Good. Nice, you guys, lifting and widening that right low belly. So maybe take a hand to your thigh crease, your front thigh crease. Good. So already to get your hand there, you had to lift your belly up, right? So lift your belly a little higher and wider. That's it. You got it, Beth. And then pull backwards on that thigh crease. Pull the hips back, just like you did in Ardha Hanumanasana, right? Fold from the waist, pull back. Nice. And then you can release that hand back down, but don't collapse into that left side belly again, or right side belly, sorry. One more breath, please. Awesome. And then step your left foot forward alongside your right, standing forward fold. Good. Feet underneath your hips, bend your knees, dropping your seat for chair. Keep your hands on the floor for a second. Hands on the floor. Butt down in chair, but hands on the floor. Hands in front of you, Stacy, so don't walk them so far towards your feet. Good. Allison, watch that your knee, it's okay if your knees are together, but just watching where your feet are, maybe a little space between your knees. So fingertips are on the floor or blocks, bend your knees a little more, drop your hips lower. Move your weight backwards, pull your hips back in space. Yep, so it's like your knees are right on top of your ankles. That's great, Andra. Good, Virginia. Good, and then fingers on the floor, scoop your belly here. Engage your glutes. I know, you're just hanging out in this chair pose. Engage your glutes. Yep, and now just take your shoulders up a little bit towards chair. Take your arms up just a little bit, so almost parallel to the floor. Stay low. Yeah, Sydney, keep your butt low. Good, butt going back. Yep, butt going back. I don't care how high you go, press your butt back. Good, nice, Susan, you got it. Release the fingertips to the floor. Good, Melody, straighten the legs and bow. I like if you manage to smile through that. Good, you guys. Step yourself back, downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank pose. Good. Drop your knees to the floor, please. Good. So a modified plank pose. So keep your hips slightly forward of your knees, armpits in line with your wrists, tops of your shoulders moving towards your fingertips. So slide forward a little bit more. And you're going to do a wide armed push-up, a wide arm chaturanga. So as you bend your elbows, let your elbows go out wide and lower the torso towards the floor. So again, you've got to be forward with the pelvis of the knees. Bend your elbows out wide. And as your elbows are bent wide, pull your low belly in and press yourself back up. Good. Yeah, I know. Not a full drop to your belly. Bend your elbows wide. Go again. Yeah. Navel in. And then from the middle of your ribs, press back up. Pull up, resist the floor. That's it. One more time. Don't drop your head this time. Lower down, keep your head in line with your spine. Feel the muscles of your back, your armpits, and then press the floor away. Child's pose, nice job. You have a back, you have a chest. There's muscles there. May all beings be peaceful. Be happy, be free from suffering. It's the way we usually word it, but even better is may all beings find an environment that allows them to be as they are, at peace. It allows them to feel joy in the experience of being themselves. That doesn't impose painful experiences. So may I contribute to building that world every day, even if I have no idea what those conditions might look like. May I be open to seeing and hearing and feeling. Because even for my own self, I'm confused about what it means to be happy. I'm confused about what it means to be at peace. I'm confused about what it means to be able to let go of my suffering. So I start with me. But my desire is universal. May all beings be included, and may all beings find this. Sometimes say that we're meant as the yogi to try and be the lighthouse, and it doesn't mean that you try to make anything better for someone else's experience, but you hold the line, or you hold the energy that says there's a way for this to happen for you and for me. And I won't give up. Walk yourself back in. Downward facing dog. I think that's our greatest teaching, is that even when you have no idea what to do, you don't give up. You do breath of fire for 3 minutes and say, I don't know, but if I keep clearing my mind, something will happen. Left leg up and back behind you, downward facing dog. Split, left leg up. Good. Step that foot forward between the hands. Nice. Right heel comes flat. Baby toe parallels the back of your mat. Good. Bring both hands inside the front foot. Your left forearm is going to press up against that left shin. Again, you can use a block underneath the hand if you need. So squeeze that shin in. Take the right arm up to the sky. So it's like a side angle pose. Good. And as you're hugging that shin in, you're pressing back. So you're trying to open that left shoulder at the same time that you're creating a stability for that knee. And then you're drawing your left butt cheek back and in towards the midline. So it's going to feel like your right hip is pushing forward in space, maybe even spinning towards the top of your mat. And that's great, because I promise that actually just brought your pelvis into more neutral alignment. Somewhere there's a fire. Right arm to the sky, pull up. Good. Nice, Diane, pull that left butt cheek back and in. One more breath, you guys. Good, start to straighten the front leg for triangle pose. Again, using a block underneath the hand if you need, or sliding that arm a little higher up. Good. Feeling that same squeezing through the legs. Left hip draws back and in. Right hip spins forward, and then open your rib cage wider. Nice. And then bend the front knee again, coming back to side angle. Knee over the ankle. Take the right arm over your ear. Good. Watch out for random people walking by. Nice, you guys. Heart to the sky. Open up. Good, Teresa. Nice, Nancy. Good, you guys. Release both hands down to the floor, please. Spin your back heel up. Drop that back knee. Good. And then straighten your left leg. Ardha Hanumanasana. Come up on the heel. Good. So your right hip is in line with your right knee. Left leg is straight. Up on the heel. And again, give that little bend to the knee. So you're dragging back on the heel, so your knee pops up a little bit more. Good. And then lean forward, bow forward the same way you normally would. Walk your hands forward and focus on keeping that little bend behind the knee, but pulling back through your thigh creases. Good. So as you lean forward, you're pressing your butt back, pressing your sit bones back, inner thighs back. Good. And keep that pressure down on the heel. So it's one thing if we just bend the knee and say, whatever, I'm just going to keep it bent, but keep the energy in the leg. So you're pressing down through the heel and dragging back, flaring the sit bones back, really working the angle of the pelvis. Good. So you're still doing something. You're lengthening your lower spine. Beautiful. One more breath. Good. And then walk yourself back in, please. Bring that left foot back to the floor. Lunge. Lift the back knee up and step your right foot forward just a little bit. Parzvo Tanasana. Take both legs to straight. Again, using blocks underneath the hands. Joanne, step your back foot to the right just a little bit more so your feet are a little wider, right and left. There you go. Nice, you guys. Good, Dana, lift your left low belly nice and high. Yep, even more, even more, even more. Let the right hip spin forward. Yep, left low belly up, 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 up. Good, you guys. Take your left hand to that top of that thigh crease, please. Good. Lift that left low belly. Pull back. Yeah, again, butt goes back in space. So the suggestion, right? Outer hips. Well, you can't work your outer hips without talking about your outer thigh. You got to use the whole leg. So pull back. Good. And then release that hand down to the floor. Really nice, Linda. Good, Marlene. Awesome, you guys. Bend the left knee, please. Step your right foot forward, both feet top of your mat. Good. Again, keep your fingertips on the floor or on blocks. Start to bend your knees towards chair. So the knees stay really in line with the ankles. As your butt drops, move your butt back in space. Good. This is the trick, right? Is to first get into your hips here. Press your butt back. And then contract the glutes, not by squeezing your butt cheeks together, but by contracting each one. So you feel the connection of your butt cheek to your thigh. Butt cheek and thigh engage. Now scoop your belly, take your arms up to chair. Good. Don't let your hips move forward. I saw that. Good. Hands to heart center, please. Prayer twist. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Good. Don't let the knees wobble. Yeah, if you went the other direction, that's okay. Come back to center. Don't change your chair. Take the twist to the other side. Good. John, hug your shins just a little bit more. That's it. Awesome. Press those knees wide, Allison. Yep. Come back to center. Arms up, butt back. Scoop your belly. Smile. Thank you. Hands to the floor. Straighten the legs and bow. I keep expecting when I tell my daughter to smile, she makes this really ridiculous, toddler face at me. So when I say smile to you, I expect you to make the same sort of face. Step back to plank pose, please. Good. Slide. You're already in plank pose. Lower down slow, please. Come all the way down to your belly. Good. Take your hands wide armed cobra up on your fingertips. Bend the elbows. So almost that same position that you were simulating in your push-ups, right? Elbows to the sky. Press into your fingertips. Press into your legs. Start to lift up head, neck, and chest. Good. And keep those elbows rotating forward. Don't try to straighten them. Keep them bent. And as those elbows rotate forward, you get more space in your armpits. And then from your collarbones and your sternum, pull forward and up. So feel those bottom tips of the shoulder blades drawing down deep into the back to lift the sternum up. And then low ribs pull in. From your breath, rise up higher. Not from your arms, from your breath. So maybe sink those arms into the shoulder socket and feel your breath lift you from the back of your body. Good. And then slowly release. Nice, you guys. Forehead to the floor. Make a little pillow with your hands. Resting the forehead there. Good. Can you feel yourself not just breathing, but can you feel yourself as breath? Can you feel yourself as the consciousness that is moving through your individual life with your to-do lists and your goals and your dreams and your desires and your challenges, your past and your future? And then can you also feel yourself as universal consciousness that is holding the possibility for all beings who have a past and a future to find their way where they end up in that environment, where they arrive in that environment, where they are able to be at peace, to find happiness, fulfillment, and where there is no suffering that is without purpose. There's no pain that is without purpose. That's really what we call suffering, right? It's pain that no longer is serving a purpose. So with your mind, you work through maybe this individual consciousness. With your breath, you are always interacting with universal consciousness. You never get away from it. Even if you think I'm not paying any attention to it, you're breathing it. It's breathing you. So the mantras, Loka, Samasta, Sukhino, Bhavantu, any of the mantras, it's a call into that universal consciousness, not your individual consciousness. Not that alone, it's uniting them. They are one and the same. It's the same breath. Good. Bend your knees here, please. Take both heels in towards your butt. Reach back for the feet or the ankles. If you can, right hand for right ankle, left hand for left ankle. If you're not reaching for the ankles today, hands alongside your ribs like you would for Cobra. Keep the knees bent. Good. If you're holding your feet, you're taking your heels towards your butt and keeping them there. Thighs down to the floor. Good. Begin to bend your elbows, lift head, neck, and chest. Keep your thighs rooted down to the floor. So this is more of a shoulder stretch. It's more of a belly stretch. It's a big quad stretch. Feel your low navel draw in. So you're anchoring your tailbone here. Bend your elbows. Pull up through your middle ribs. Nice. If your hands are on the floor, same thing. You're lifting up like you're coming into Cobra, but keep those thighs rooted down. Good. One more breath. Nice. And then slowly release. Good, you guys. Plant the hands on the floor. Press up to hands and knees. Good. Do a little cat and cow. Good. And then find yourself back, coming back to stillness. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Good. Take your right foot forward between the hands, please. Step the left foot in just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Parzvo Tanasana. Use blocks underneath the hands if you need. Good. Again, allowing the back hip here to spin slightly forward so your right low belly can lift higher and wider. Good. Scoop into that low belly a little bit more, like you're pushing your butt up towards the sky and pulling back. So sacrum up towards the sky, but thigh creases back towards the wall behind you. Good. And then come up on your front heel. So lift the front toes up off the floor. And again, as you dig down into that heel, maybe add a little bend behind your knees so that you're not just pressing through the back of your knee. So try to soften the back of that joint and then pull your butt up even more. Press your butt up and back even more with a bent knee. Yep. Really curl those toes back. Notice that your big toe is probably coming up higher than your baby toe. So see if you can draw your baby toe up higher, push through your big toe mound. Yeah, really fun. Now try and maintain this feeling on your leg. Take that foot back flat to the floor and anchor through the big toe mound, baby toe mound of the foot. Pull your hips back so it feels like your leg is coming to straight because you're pushing through your foot and through your sacrum, pulling long, not pressing back through the knee. Awesome, you guys. Good. Bend that right knee, please. Walk your fingertips straight ahead. Step up, standing split. Left thigh parallels the floor. Again, you can keep blocks underneath your hands here, no problem. Good. Nice, you guys. Beautiful. Bend your standing knee, please. Yeah, so not the leg in the air, the leg that you're standing on, bend it. And then scoop that right low belly, lift it higher and wider, still with a bent knee. I know, so you're spinning that left hip forward. Keep that knee bent. Yup. I know, find your heel. So move your hips slightly back in space, just like you did in chair. Good. I know, I'll let you straighten the leg again in a second, but I want your hip to move back. Good. And now with that same feeling of not pressing straight through the knee, press through your heel, pull your butt to the sky, start to straighten that standing leg, drop your chest. But don't let your weight fall forward towards your toes. Keep it on your heel, centered on your heel. Good. Beautiful, Jessica. Nice, Heidi. Nice, Diane. Good, you guys. Release that left foot down to the floor. Good. Step it back. Plank pose. Good. Drop your knees to the floor, please. Chest forward. So that modified chaturanga, this time instead of the elbows going wide, the elbows point straight back. So bend your elbows, hug those forearms towards each other, and feel like your upper arms are actually pushing slightly wide, and then lower the chest down parallel to the floor, no lower than that. So your butt never drops, and then press yourself all the way back up. Good. I know, not a arched back, no swayed back. Good. Lower down again, please. Again, you can keep the knees on the floor. Lower down parallel to the floor, so elbows don't go beyond 90 degrees. Press yourself all the way back up. Nice. Come forward a little bit more, Ralph. And then one more time, lower down. Good. Lift the back of your head, Jen, everybody in the room. And then all the way back up. Nice job. Child's pose. What's so funny is that when you explain this to someone later, you're going to be like, this class was so hard. And she made us do push-ups. Really? How many? 6. 6 push-ups. And like 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds of mountain climbers. The worst was she made me breathe through my belly. So funny, right? Because you're going to try to explain it to someone who's used to really abusing their bodies, and they're going to be like, what are you talking about? Like, there's no way that was hard. And it is hard, right? I'm not minimizing that. It's just funny that in the moment when you're doing it, you can just do it. Afterwards, in your mind, you're like, it was so hard. And when you think about doing it again tomorrow, you're like, no way. Right? I'm not doing that wake up series thing that she said. Not if it involves boat pose and breath of fire and that nonsense. No way. Not first thing in the morning. I need coffee. I need donuts. I need whatever I need in the morning. This is what I mean, is the mind does what it does. But your breath is always in that cosmic consciousness. It's always in the universal that says, doesn't matter what the mind is doing, I'm connecting to all other beings. So even in the background of drinking your coffee or doing whatever you do in the morning or throughout your day, can you hold that with every breath? You might not know how, but may you find happiness, peace, freedom from suffering. Come back up to hands and knees, please. Press back downward facing dog. I know nobody asked for push-ups today. That was not one of the requests. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Yep, right foot steps forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight, Parzvo Tanasana. But I do like, right, when the question or the request comes up as core, and I've actually been doing a lot of core work this week because the thought, when you work with the vayus, then vayu means wind. It's literally how we describe the different actions that prana takes in the body. So it's all the same prana, but it moves in different ways. You know, just like you could say your blood moves everywhere, but it serves, it brings different things to each organ. So your prana is doing the same thing. It has different functions. Good, you guys, left low belly lifts nice and high and wide. And then come up on that front heel. Yep. And a little bend to that front knee. So you're actually bending the knee a little bit, dragging back on the heel, and then pulling your butt up and back. So really focus on the pelvis. Good. Right. So one of the vayus is at your belly. It's your digestive energy. Circles through the navel, circles through the core of the body, through the core of the body, digestive system. And it said that when you need to clear something in your life or in your mind, you start there, digestion. One more breath, you guys. Pull your butt up and back. Keep that bend behind the knee and really work through your lower back and pelvis. So you're extending back. Awesome. And then let that left foot find the floor again, pressing through big toe mound, baby toe mound. Awesome. Nice, you guys. And then walk your hands forward. Please step up, standing split. I had to think for a second. What did I do after that? I found it. Good. Bend your standing knee, please. Hands can be on blocks. So Sue, make sure you're really turning that right hip towards the floor as much as you can. Yeah. So with that bent knee, really lift and widen your low belly. Really try and bring the pelvis parallel to the floor. It's going to challenge the outer hip. It's going to challenge the outer thigh. I know. So keep the knee bent. The more you keep the knee bent, the easier it is. I know I say that in quotations mark, easier, but it actually makes it doable. So bend the knee and really let the hip be felt as tight as it is. Scoop that low belly, let your weight move back, hips move back so it's balanced on your heel. Weight on your heel. Good. And then start to straighten that standing leg again, keeping that softness behind the knee. So you're pressing through the heel and lifting through your seat. Beautiful. And then go ahead and step that leg back behind you, please. Left foot steps back as well. Downward facing dog. Really good, you guys. Then slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Good. Lower down Chaturanga, which means you pause halfway. If you need knees on the floor, do that, but pause halfway. Lift the back of your throat, Beth. Throat up, press back up, plank. I know. So mean. Lower down halfway, pause and hold. This is how you get good at Chaturanga. You just do it. Good. Back of your ribs, puff up. Back up to plank. Don't drop your head. One more time. Lower down halfway, just parallel to the floor. No lower. Don't make it harder. Press back up to a plank. Nice, Teresa. Good. All the way down to your belly, slow, pausing in Chaturanga as you lower. Nice, Allison. Rise up, Cobra, lift head, neck, and chest. It's been 1,000 years since you did a Cobra, right? Good. And then release back to your belly, please. Flip over onto your back. Imagine that that's going to be the beginning of something relaxing. Just imagine it. Let yourself dream. I am dreaming. Dreaming of a world where whatever your life brings you to that state of happiness and peace, and where you do not feel that you are stuck in the bonds of suffering. That's what we dream of. Good. Nice, you guys. Take your legs straight up towards the sky. Good. So bend your knees a little bit, cross one ankle over the other. Good. This is a little bit, they call it like a reverse crunch. So you can take your arms out wide if you'd like, palms facing down. And you're working really, you're going to keep that rib cage and upper back really rooted down to the floor. So your upper body is not doing the work here. It's just stabilizing. You can keep the knees slightly bent. Good. So it's a little bit of glute work too, is you're going to curl into that low belly, lift your feet towards the sky. So lift up, almost like you're going to pretend you're going into shoulder stand, but straight up. Try not to roll too much. And then back down. Good. And you're just going to do that. So really keep the upper body very still, rooted to the floor, just working the lower body. So it's a little squeeze and lift the legs straight up to the sky. Good. Using as little momentum as you can. So Jessica, your shoulders are popping up. Keep them down. Jessica on screen, not Jessica in the room. Yeah. Jessica in the room was like, what the hell?
So what does this mean if you can't do it?
What does it mean if you can't do it? It means that your lower abdominals are not used to being isolated. It means that your legs are not used to working with your lower abdominals to actually lift you. So if this is very hard to do and you do shoulder stand habitually, it means you're using a lot of other muscles to compensate. Switch the cross of your ankles, please. Good. Try again. Nice. Watch how much you are tensing through your neck. Watch how much your jaw is trying to do the work for you, which is ridiculous, right? Watch how much you are insisting that you have to go really high and swing your hips here instead of just feeling what your abdominals can do. Just find your abdominals. That's the point. Get the connection of your legs to your lower belly. There you go, Dana. Good. And then release, please. Hug your knees in towards your chest. That burned. Again, I'm giving you lots of fuel so that when you go to talk to whoever today and say, my yoga teacher was so mean, she made me do 7 push-ups, 9 push-ups, and she made me lift my butt up off the floor using just my belly. Take your knees wide, happy baby. May this be the greatest thing you have to complain about today. So instead you can tell the story of how you went to this difficult yoga class and the teacher wanted you to do all these ridiculous things, and you can say, but I freaking did it. And I did it with a mentality that said, may this bring me to a place where I recognize, I understand how to be happy, how to be at peace, and how to feel that whatever is in this moment does not have to be suffering. It doesn't have to be felt that way. Good. Cross the right thigh on top of the left, please. Separate your feet. Reach for your ankles or your shins. So stack the knees. Gomukhasana legs. Good. Right thigh on top of left. Reaching for the ankles or the shins. Knees in towards your chest. Good. Feeling the low back rest. Anchor down to the floor. Beautiful, you guys. Unwind your legs, switch to the other side, take the other leg on top. Good. And then let go of your feet, please. Keep the knees stacked. Just squeeze your shins towards each other. So it's like you're doing eagle pose on your back. So press the shins together. Yep. And then take your right arm over top of the left in front of your chest. So you're literally doing eagle on your back. Find the whole length of your spine. So your knees are going to move away from your belly just a little bit so that you can feel your whole lower back on the floor. Feel your shoulders on the floor. Don't let your hands fall on your face. Deep breath in. As you exhale, bring the elbows and knees towards each other, round your back. Curl like an eagle crunch. Squeeze in. Good. And then relax back. Find your spine. Deep breath in. Good. Exhale, curl in again. Elbows and knees come together. Don't do it through your neck. Stay nice and long. Release back to your spine. Deep breath in. Good. Exhale, curl in again. Squeeze. Good. Keeping that wideness of your chest. Lower back. Inhale. You got two more. Squeeze in. Elbows to knees. Keep your shins hugging towards each other as much as you can. Release back. Last one. Curl up. Last one on this side. And then release. Unwind the arms, the legs, squeeze the knees in towards your chest. Just adding for you. She made me do crunches and eagle pose. It's the worst. Kind of is. I really, part of me really dislikes eagle crunches, but they're very effective. All right, go back to the first side again. So right thigh crosses over top of left. Equal opportunity for the shoulders and the abdominals. Good. Left arm crosses over top of right in front of your chest. So you should have the other leg on top, other arm on top. Yep. Lift those shins parallel to the floor. So again, you're in eagle pose. Good. So since we started with the left leg on top, you should all have your right leg on top, I think.
I started the other.
All right, then you do what you know you need to do. Good. Deep breath in. Exhale. Bring the elbows and knees together. Curl up. Good. Letting the shoulders leave the floor. And then release back. Inhale. Long spine. Exhale. Elbows and knees come together. Round. Curl. Shoulders off the floor. And then reach it back. Long spine. Inhale. Exhale. Curl in again. This is work for your hip flexors too. This is work for everything. Release back. Inhale. Exhale. Curl in. Good. Release back. Inhale. Exhale, curl in. And then release back one more time. Exhale, curl in, squeeze. And then release, unwind, hug the knees in towards your chest. Beautiful. Roll from side to side. A little massage for your lower back. Good. And then opportunity here for shoulder stand is my suggestion because you're well warmed up for it, right? So if you'd like to come into shoulder stand, you're welcome to do that, setting the arms alongside you, drawing the knees in towards your chest, using that low belly to feel like that's what lifts your pelvis up over your shoulders. Use that low belly. Take the legs up if you'd like. If you prefer to put a block underneath your seat, do a supported shoulder stand, that's perfect. If there's a different inversion that you would much rather be doing, right, you can certainly choose that. But if you're avoiding shoulder stand just because you like to avoid shoulder stand, maybe try it for a breath or two. Good, you guys. Even if you have a block underneath, you stay connected to the energy of your legs. The energy of your legs being connected to your pelvis. Good. Reaching through the inner edges of the legs, through the lowest part of your belly. Nice, Ralph. Good, Mark. Let your feet come away from your belly a little bit more, so more of your sacrum is resting on the block. Yep. A little more relaxed on your lower back. Good, you guys. A little bit of fun if you're pretty happy in shoulder stand is take your right thigh over top of your left, bend your knees like your legs are in eagle pose. And pull those knees down towards your chest, but keep lifting your butt up. Yes, you got to bend both knees, Ralph. There you go. Yeah. Press the shins together. Good. And then take the legs back up to straight. Please try the other side. Cross the other leg on top. Good. And you got to bend both knees again as though you're in eagle pose. Good. Nice, Valerie. Nice, John. Good, Susan. And then slowly release that, stretching the legs back up to the sky. Good. Find your way slowly rolling down out of the pose. If you have a block underneath, you bring your feet to the floor. Good. As your hips start to come towards the floor, bend your knees so that you don't have that harsh dropping of your hips and that flying up of your head. Good. If that is your habit, then just notice it's your habit. And maybe next time, if you forgot this time. Good. Plant your feet, please. Set your arms alongside you, elbows bent. Rise up for bridge pose. So pressing down through the upper arms. Reach from the back of your heart to the sky. So bridge pose. I did not say fish. I said bridge. But if you're in fish, that's okay. Yeah, funny how your mind was like, it should always be fish. Bridge. Come up on your tippy toes in your bridge pose. Up on your tippy toes, feel again the glutes engaged, so not squeezing towards the middle of your butt, but your butt and your thighs draw towards each other. Wrap around the pelvis. Heart nice and high. Pull your knees towards the tips of your toes. Big toe mounds root down because you're going to roll towards the baby toe edges of your feet, I promise. And then slowly release the heels back down. Release the hips back down. Nicely done, you guys. Draw the knees in towards your chest. Come back to happy baby. Good. And squeeze the knees back in towards your chest. Please keep the right knee in. Extend your left leg straight down to the floor. Good. Do some circles with that right ankle. It's our hope that if we're really using our legs very consciously, that as we release the kind of held tension in the bigger muscles, calves, thighs, hips, is that the feet will get relief. Good. And then release that. Please hold behind that right thigh. Extend your right heel up towards the sky, straight leg. Good. Press your thigh back against your hands. Again, focusing on maybe letting the knee stay a little bit bent, but really press up through the heel and push down through the top of your thigh. Good. And then keeping that leg straight if you can, come into a spinal twist, letting the right leg come across the body over to the left. Straight leg twist. Again, holding behind the thigh is great. Placing a block underneath the foot is great. Using your furniture is the best. Good. Trying to keep that heel in line with your hip. Fun challenge, right? Nice, Teresa. Good, Heidi. Good. Slowly bring it back to center, please. Drawing the knee in towards your chest. Good. And then stretch the right leg down to the floor. Bring your left knee in. And circling the ankle. So funny. Usually you guys are doing what I ask you to do. Then sometimes you're just doing very interesting interpretations. So whatever you're doing looks great. Good. Release the movement of the ankle, please. Hold behind the thigh. Extend that heel straight up towards the sky. Good. And as you push that thigh back against the hands, again, don't focus on trying to lock the knee, but press down through your left sit bone and press out through your heel. So Carla, maybe move your foot a little wider to the left. Yes. There you go. Perfect. Awesome, you guys. And then even here, can you kind of press out through the big toe mound of your foot like you're pressing on a gas pedal? Good. So your foot's not fully flexed, not fully pointed, but you push through the ball of your foot. There you go. Changes the feeling on the leg, right? Awesome. Holding behind that thigh, please take the left leg over to the right, spinal twist. And again, if having the leg straight in the twist just really doesn't work, feel free to bend the knee, no problem. But if you can keep the leg straight, keep it straight. And try to find where your heel is in line, straight in line with your hip. That might feel very intense, but see if you can get it there. Good, and if not, that's okay, but try your best. Don't give up. And in this moment, remind yourself that there is the opportunity to find happiness and fulfillment this moment, that you can be at peace with this moment, and that whatever it is that you feel, body and mind, does not have to be held as suffering. In this pose, you can remind yourself that it's just your hamstrings. It's just your IT band. It's just your hips. And feel where your breath goes and where it doesn't. Good, you guys. Slowly come back to center, please. Hugging that knee in towards your chest. Squeeze. Good. Bring the right knee in with it. Both knees in towards your chest. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees. Hug, hug, hug. Good. And then slowly release, please. Stretching the legs straight out in front of you. Arms alongside you. What you've been dreaming of since you got on this morning. Shavasana. Maybe letting your mind rest again on the mantra Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May you become the beacon, the lighthouse of open space and ground. For there to be this open, all-inclusive experience of love, peace. Where your prana is not bound by the past or the future or any concept of suffering. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. Letting the body begin to stretch and move, whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest. Roll to your right side. Take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Hands coming to rest, palm to palm in front of the heart, or in whatever mudra has been serving you well. So our prana becomes bound up with the activities of our mind. And if our mind is always looking at how hard everything is or how big or how challenging, and that voice of the ego is always reminding us about how small and insignificant we are, then what we breathe out into the world stays within those boundaries. Even though chronically we're always in universal consciousness, what we perceive to be our individual limitations becomes what's real. And so our practice is to revitalize that pranic self and to bring the mind in alignment with that, not the other way around. So when we say eradicate the ego, it doesn't mean to get rid of it. It means to bring it back home to where it can feel itself not just as the caretaker of this body and this mind, but the one that takes care of your spirit and takes care of your soul. Right? It stands at the doorway to your reality of being in universal consciousness. It stands in the doorway of bliss. So we bring it back home. And when that's where our mind rests, and that's where our ego rests, in that state of universal awareness, then that desire that we have, that dream that we have of a world where all beings are happy and at peace and free from suffering, starts to move into our individual actions. And we don't even know how or why we're doing it. We just do it. And it's not so hard to do because you're doing a little bit of it every day, everywhere you land. You're simply holding that energy with your thoughts, your words, your actions. So as a yogi, don't get caught up in that feeling of how big it is to say all beings. You don't have to find every cricket and try and make its life better. But you can hold this knowledge, you can hold this reality, and you can bring yourself back into that universal awareness so that your individual actions reflect that desire. It will breathe through you. So really your only job as the yogi is to promise yourself, to promise all beings, I won't give up. When my day is really hard, I won't give up. When my life is really hard, I won't give up. Not for me and not for you. So that as I become free, automatically it means you become more free too. So make that promise. May all beings be happy, be peaceful, be free from suffering. And may your life, starting with you, contribute to building that world. Close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Thank you guys so much. Really good work. Again, you have every right to go and brag/complain to somebody about how hard you worked this morning. So good job. Have a great rest of your day. Heads up for next weekend.